Comedian Jim Norton with his childhood hero Ozzy Osbourne. This is a special presentation of Jim Norton Obsessed on the Boneyard.
That was Let Me Hear You Scream. Or maybe I should do that in a radio voice. That was Let Me Hear You Scream off the new album, Scream, by Ozzy Osbourne. Fucking radio people and their awful radio voices. It's a great tune, man. And now we're going to throw back to the interview a little bit. We talk a little bit more about addiction and creative process. And I don't know how nervous I sound during this interview. I was almost so fucking panic-stricken that I pulled it off conversationally. It's like being traumatized in childhood. It's like you just, instead of screaming and yelling, you just kind of stop and don't move at all. That's kind of what this was like, but fun. All right, back to the interview. When an album, it's time to do an album, do you say, okay, it's been 3 years since my last album, and it's time to do it, or do you start getting hit with bursts of inspiration?
No, it's like the first thing, the wall goes up and goes, you can't do it without a drink, you know. You can't do it without a substance. But, you know, I really don't talk about it that much because it's my own little battle, and I don't want anybody to think, oh, he's boring now, he's just sober, he just talks like an old fart, you know. It's like, I mean, as I say to people out there, if you honestly can look yourself in the mirror and go, I had a great night, Lester. I went out and had a few drinks, I puked over my partner's dress, and
right.
I insulted that, you know. I mean, when we're all clean and sober, I went out and go to you and go, hey, get me the, you know. My manners come back to the surface. I mean, and when I meet people that are all lit up now, I go, I feel sorry for them because it's not fun, you know. I mean, you know, I didn't enjoy doing that at the end. But if there was something else, now I don't know you. I go, I never tried ecstasy. I wonder what that's like. I never tried this one or that one or this one. But it always all ends up in the same hole.
All the same. It's all misery and vomiting and forgetfulness and alienating people. Yeah. It's never good.
I'm lucky to be alive, you know. I mean, because I thought everybody got stoned. I thought everybody in the world got loaded. And so now I'm clean and sober. It's a very small proportion of the population that do, you know. Yeah,
or they might tie one on once in a while. They don't do it every day.
I could never get my head around heavy drinkers versus alcoholics. I mean, I was a heavy drinker, but I couldn't stop. When a heavy drinker, they say, well, go out on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, get up for work on the Monday. I wouldn't even think about it. I mean, them powder days when we used to do that white powder, the next morning when daylight comes, and the paranoia. There's somebody at the door, there's somebody on the roof, there's Mexicans trying to get me. They're going to kidnap me. You know,
it's insanity.
I remember one time being in New York and I was having a bad come down from it all, and I was lying in a hotel. I think it was the Helmsley Palace, and I'll go, Sharon, I've got no more anything. And it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I go, Sharon, I think I'm dying. She went, well, die quietly. I've got a business meeting tomorrow morning.
She's a very tough woman, and I guess it takes a very, very tough woman to have dealt with all of those ups and downs.
I mean, somebody put this to me one time. They said, okay, Ozzy, I want you to think of this. Imagine you're the sober one and your wife's the drunk and the drug addict. And you went home, she's lying unconscious on the floor in a pool of her own urine. Do you think you would last? I'd go, well, that's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, it might be fun for a while, but then you'd get sick and tired of cleaning up.
I mean, I've been in places when people are going, my wife wants a divorce. I'm very lucky about you, but my partner didn't want to divorce me. I mean, I'm lucky to have her. I'm lucky to have my life, you know.
You are very lucky, and I love Sharon. I love the fact people say, oh, she works Ozzy too hard, but it's like, it really is, you need somebody who is not afraid to tell you, look, it's time to get moving, or it's time to do this. Somebody who's not afraid to upset you.
She would not mince her words. She would say, get your butt on that, you know. I mean, she was one to say, she used to say, I go, all the people want is my autograph to sell the album sleeve. She goes, the day they stop asking you for an autograph, the day we got a problem.
Yeah. And I got the new album. I was at the listening party last night, and I got to tell you, it's amazing to me. First of all, how you are with the fans. Like, they were all downstairs kind of, listening to the record and really loving it. The reaction was really good. I was peeking in, and the murmur about it was great. They were all saying how heavy it was and how great you sound. It's to me, it's the best thing you've done in many, many years, with no disrespect to the other work. But
there again, I had to, Kevin. I mean, it's like you don't get a dog and bark yourself. I had to allow Kevin Sugar to be the producer, I mean, I want to produce it, but produce it myself. But then I can't play an instrument, so I'll get more dilemma. So I had to accept their help. I mean, cause I'll go to everybody. Okay, everyone's got to have a say in what the album's going to be like. But then I'm thinking, but yeah, I'm Ozzy. It's going to be my album. I'll have the last say. So I'll fight it. But then I get to the point where Kevin goes, "Well, it's your album. You know, I'm only suggesting." You know,
I was blown away by it. It's so you have Gus G and you have Blasco and you have kind of a new crew in there, a new drummer. Did it help creatively just to have different type of people in the studio?
No, I mean Kevin and myself, more so Kevin and I, laid the foundations, and the band came in and played over the foundation. I mean, Kevin Shercock plays drums on the album.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have Tommy at that point, and the only one I've got to have now is Rob Zombie. I've got the rest of his band. So.
But you know what? It's the amazing thing about the album is none of them are predictable. None of the songs are predictable. It's like...
Well, I mean, to change. I couldn't do Iron Man for the rest of my life. I mean, it's been done, you know. Tony Iommi became a great... He was a great guy to work with over the years. But then, to change is dangerous because... Some people in the parts have gone, okay, I'm going to sound like a thrash metal band, and they go from classic to whatever they want to go to, and they end up wondering why nobody buys the album, because change has got to be a gradual process.
Right.
So it wasn't a conscious decision. When I did the album with Kevin, I didn't it's got to be heavy, this has got to be the first track, this has got to be the second track. It kind of delivered to me by somewhere else, you know.
Well, the thing that's great is the way it really does catch you off guard, because you have Let It Die, and then I Want to Hear You Scream, and the third song, I forget what the third song is. Soul Sucker, very heavy song, and then Life Will Not Wait, is it called?
Life Won't Wait.
Life Won't Wait. Boom. A total change of pace and an uplift. It's a great album.
I mean, that song I thought, well, is that Ozzy? And I thought, well, give it a shot. And my son said, that song's great, Dad, you got to have it on the album. Because it's like, Kevin and I did 14 songs. And so at the end of it, I go, well, should I take that one off or put that one on? And so in the end, I go, whatever it goes on. I like them all for whatever reason.
That's a nice problem to have, though, when you have too much and you have to kind of cut it down a little bit.
But I mean, people go, I want extra songs. It's not any less than the album. So, I mean, there's some pretty interesting stuff. I'm sure eventually people will get around to getting them.
What a great time to once again awkwardly interrupt an interview and play. We might as well play the song that we just heard us talking about, which was Life Won't Wait, which really is a great tune off the album. So we'll play that now and come back. That's the good part about doing satellite. You don't have to segue into fucking commercial breaks. You just play music. This is Life Won't Wait off the new album.